LPT if you see something falling and you can't catch it, kick it. Obviously not like you're playing soccer and trying to score a goal. More like firm, non-destructive kick that changes the object's trajectory to meet the inevitable floor at an angle and reduce the stress of impact. Move like you could catch the object with your foot and you'll probably be fine. Saved countless pieces of tableware this way, and just today, a falling box of frozen spinach at work. Nothing big, but maybe something some people have never thought about. Edit as you maximum derpification put it. Kick the falling object like it was a hacky sack. Fits the feeling of it way better than what I wrote. Edit 2. Please don't try to catch a knife with any part of your body. A falling knife has no handle. I grew up playing hacky sack. This is now instinctive for me. I almost dropped my phone on my soft carpeted floor, but thank God I have lightning fast reflexes and was able to slap it into the wall instead. I catch things with my foot all the time. Often prevents something from breaking. Almost caught a fillet knife I knocked off the counter the other day. Barely stopped myself. Instructions unclear. Punted my phone into the river Anchorman style. Don't try to catch big bits of heavy metal with your hands or your feet. Let Mother Earth accept what it finds so attractive. Don't recommend for falling children. You don't do this instinctively? My partner once dropped an SM58, which is a common, inexpensive, and very sturdy microphone. Dumbass tried to catch it with their foot and had a really bad bruise. Meanwhile, every bar with live music has an SM58 which has been thrown, dropped and barfed on with no change in performance. It's also an easy and inexpensive way to break your foot. Double bonus. Yep, I cracked the bone on top of my foot doing this exact thing. You should pick your battles. But I still do it. Great idea, I never think of it before. I caught my phone with my foot once. Felt like a ninja. Of course no one was around to see it. It's called a foot stall. Spanish goalkeeper Santiago Canizares missed the World Cup because he tried kicking a bottle of aftershave. I used to do this all the time. Until a few things ended up being much harder than anticipated. I'll buy something new versus breaking my foot. The falling knife has no handle. Unless it's a knife. I used this trick a few times when I worked at a tile store. Didn't work out so well when I dropped a 5-pound can of grout. Doesn't work with pianos. Works most of the time, but I have kicked expensive things into worse places than the floor. Oh yeah, the old football reflex. I once saved an egg that fell head height from the fridge. But also broke my toe on the iron cast skillet. So you saved a frozen box of spinach using this method? I prevented breaking like $10,000 worth of THC oil by putting my foot out. Instinctively tried this with a cordless drill once, used crutches for the next 2 weeks. I've stopped so many glass containers from shattering into oblivion by lobbing a foot out, and it usually bumps my foot and against the cabinet. And then I gently let it down to the floor. I once saved a whole container of spaghetti because I ended up slamming the open side against the cabinet, and I could just pull it away and pop it back in the microwave for a little bit. Almost kicked a falling knife once. Don't. Saved my phone this way many times. A wise man once said a falling knife has no handle. I tried this but got yelled at. Now I'm not allowed to hold my baby brother. Worked in a kitchen for years, this has saved far more than not. Sadly not work when you see a child about to topple. I am getting sued now. My lawyer is advising me not to take the but your honor, it's really a life hack defense. Just not with a knife or scissors. Oh yeah. Keep doing this. Eventually you'll kick that fucking hammer you dropped. Trust me. I know. I've kicked my phone clear across the street. 'Cause I didn't want it to land on the floor in front of me. Person shrugging. Great habit to have until you drop something sharp or heavy. I lost a toenail doing this. Was a server with a full tray and the teapot fell off. I tried to stop it with my foot and my skin just fell off like the teapot when I tried to take my sock off. Or, and hear me out here, catch it on your shoe. The few times I've done this I've felt elite. Not sure if this was answered. But going by this logic, should people have tried to push kick people that were jumping from the top floors of the World Trade Center towers before they touched the ground? I tried this but my grandma was pissed. One should always follow the instinct to hacky a sack. Woody Harrelson, probably. Maybe don't do this if you see an animal falling off a chair. Grimace. Yeah, I instinctively did this after I dropped a 1.75 liter of wine at a liquor store I worked at. It didn't help. I dropped my phone and missed catching it, so my sister kicked it lightly. Instead on falling on the case. It now fell flat on the touchscreen. Knife stuck in foot, what do I do now? Dropped ice cream, kicked it into wall. I just grab where it's going to be, i.e. catch from the bottom. Prevents hitting it more downward away from our hand if you can't firmly grasp it. I do this all the time when I drop my phone. Breaks the impact. I always stick my foot under the object so it lands on the top of my foot instead of the hard floor. Old hacky sack trick. I do it every time I can, but not a knife. This is the most useless and potentially dangerous LPT in a long time. One time at work as I was getting up from the toilet, and I turned around to flush, my AirPod began to fall in the toilet. My reflexes kicked in and I smacked the shit out of it and it hit the wall pretty hard. Audio still works but the microphone never quite worked the same. No joke, I just did this today with a pineapple. Painfully smashed all the bones in my foot, but the pineapple survived and went on to become fruit salad. Kick your kids as they fall. I do this constantly because I played soccer for 13 years. It's involuntary. I am glad I'm not the only superhuman out there, as I also do this on the regular. My baby is standing up at the edge of the couch. Just waiting for him to look unstable so I can test this out. Falling things not to kick: knives, grenades, 45-pound steel weights, boulders, washing machines, a car, a sea urchin, an axe, molten metal, mercury thermometer. I'm starting to think this is a shit LPT. Unless it's a knife, then do neither. Pro tip: avoid this tip with knives. This is a habit I am trying to break. I've almost tried to foot catch about a dozen knives. Unless you work in a butcher shop or with other sharp tools. Moving out of the way also works. Gonna be a lot of hurt babies after this post. I'm curious what the worst thing that could happen to a box of frozen spinach falling is. It hits the floor? It can't shatter. This is terrible advice for falling knives. I saved my phone numerous times with this maneuver. You have to be careful with this. I lost a cell phone down a sewer grate this way. No, if I can't save it, take the chance of causing more damage, or injury my foot. I always try and save with the foot, lol. Except when I dropped a knife once and instinctually put my foot under to catch it. Thankfully I realized what TF I was doing and pulled back tears of joy.